Hi, I'm glad to see you again, and that should be very interesting lecture as we are going to resolve two puzzles at once that are connecting with geodata. So let's remind what should we perform here. So first of all, we have to organize search within a shape provided by user, and here how it looks like. So user can draw any polygon or any shape by himself, and we have to provide all hotels that would be inside the shape. Another task that we have to implement according to our task is to display the number of hotels at the map in such a way. So now when we know what we want to do, let's return to solution. So let's open our Postman, and here I'm having prepared GeoShape query. And how it looks like, let's start from some simple example. First of all, here we simply want to match all documents from our hotels, but apply an additional filter, and it is called GeoShape filter. Here we are putting hotel location, and we providing some shape within which we want to search our hotels, and that is our coordinates. Here I want to show you one more interesting tool, how you can to play around with that. There is a nice site, GeoJSON.io, and here you can find, for example, any localization. In our case, it is Warsaw, Poland, as you remember. So let's find it. Okay, here we have, and you can, for example, choose some shape, and here you simply can draw whenever you want. In such a way. Yes. Oops, and we draw our shape, and here you will get coordinates. So it is enough simply to copy whole Z section from that part, return to the Postman, put it here, that coordinates section accordingly, and relation within, so, and click send. And now you can see that we got two hits, as both our hotels are from Warsaw. The third one is situated at Gdańsk, so it was not suited to our request. So it was not so complicated. You can say that it was rather easy, yes, to resolve our puzzle. Moreover, we can extend our initial query, and what we have to do is at filter part. Now we can't use our geodistance filter anymore. In case user will add some geoshape as using some additional functionality, we will have to replace our distance filter with geoshape 1, and now we can run all it at once to check if all it works. And as you can see, we got our results. Nice, isn't it? And please pay attention at time. It is still very small. We got only 1 millisecond more than while we performed our query without GeoShape operations. Sorry, 5 milliseconds, okay. But anyway, it is still so fast, very fast, and that is the real geo power of Elasticsearch, that we can perform such manipulation within such short time. I want to mention here one more thing, that there is a special GeoPolygon query, but pay attention that it was deprecated from 7.12, so I'm not showing it anymore, but simply want you to be aware of last changes at Elasticsearch engine. So we used GeoShape query according last recommendations. Use GeoShape instead where polygons are defined. And GeoShape is more abstract conception. You can perform searching not only within some polygons, but also within some points, some string, multi-point, multi-line string, geometry collection. As you can see, the variety of different objects for geo searching is really big. Moreover, we can perform search not only within, but using another special commands like intersects, disjoint, contains. So the power of Geo at Elasticsearch engine is really hard to estimate, and we are limited mostly only by our imagination. Let's return to our next puzzle, to our functionality where we have to display hotels in a map using some markers. For that purpose, we will perform geo aggregation. How it works? So here we are using aggregation again. That time we are using special term geohash grid aggregation. Field, again, we are performing it within location, and precision 3. I will explain in a moment what does it mean, that precision. Here, please have a look at results, and as you can see that using according precision, we have two documents within that square, and that is geohash square. I will show you in a moment what does it mean also. And using that square, we have only one document. Generally, we have two hotels from Warsaw and one from Gdańsk. And here we'll try to explain what does geohash mean. So imagine that you have a big map of the whole world and it is divided at 32 cells. Then every of that cells is again divided at 32, and so on and so on and so on. In a such way, we are having a lot of such cells, and we are getting some special code for every of them. So in fact, every cell reflects some part of our S. And here at official documentation at geohash aggregation, you can find that dimensions. For example, if we have the geohash with the first level, that would be rather big square, as you understand. And the most precise of them is with encoded string with numbers that equal 12, and in that case you are getting very small rectangle on our S. So that is how it looks, and that precision that we added to geohash aggregation, that can be correlated with the geohash length by itself. So at our example we used precision 3, so we were operating within a huge map from the whole Europe, so I simply tried it to aggregate it within such a square. In practice, you have to correlate according geohash aggregation with zoom in, so while zooming your map up you have to increase precision and vice versa. In addition, please pay attention to that recommendation that geohashes retained by geohash grid aggregation can be also used for zooming in. To zoom into the first geohash, for example, that example it was here, written in the previous example, it should be specified as both top left and bottom right corner. So first of all, we are using another geo-bounding box filter that will limit our scope for searching only for that big rectangle. And then we are performing that aggregations. After that, you can use any front-end library. There are a lot of them that will allow you simply to display a coding marker with a coding number that you will get here from aggregation on a map. So that is the way you can realize such a complicated functionality as displaying markers and a map. And don't forget about that advice that when requested detailed buckets typically for displaying a zoom-in map, a filter like geo-bounding box should be applied to narrow the subject area, otherwise potentially millions of buckets will be created and returned. So that is a question of performance, don't forget about it. So all links that I'm using would be added to current lecture attachments. I also want to show you one more thing in the end of current lecture, and that is geocentroid aggregation. In that case, you can put additional aggregation on the result of geohash grid aggregation, and to get some weighted centroid from all coordinate values for geofields. In that way, you will be able to position your markers correctly, depending on the density of hotels that are created within a coding geohash cell. So as you can see, Elasticsearch is a really powerful geo tool that allows us to perform very complicated operations. With geopoints, geoshades, it allows us to perform also complicated aggregation operations. And that's all, as for me, makes Elasticsearch very useful and simply unreplaceable tool. Thank you for being with me all that time. I hope that you are fond of Elasticsearch as I am. That is the end of that lecture. We could resolve all problems from our tasks definitions, and we were able to realize all that strange functions. Two of them were connected with geo problems and one was connected with calculated average rating, and we could deal with it. So nice and cool. And now we can go to the next section of our course, where I will be speaking about recommendation systems, and I will show you an example how Elasticsearch can be used for building a recommendation system at some virtually created by us marketplace. So see you in the next section.